Hi, welcome to A Moment in Time with Taylor. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please be sure to check out our website, nextjuice.com. Click the support button and help us to keep this channel going and growing together. Shout out to Wesley, our first comment to the broadcast over on YouTube. We are live on YouTube and Periscope right now, as we all often do with our book reviews. Josh first comes to the broadcast on Periscope. He said, "Ooh, yum, OJ." Matt says, hi, Matt. Hey, Rodolfo. Michael, thank you for sharing on Twitter. Matt, thank you for inviting your followers. Hey, Fandula. Hey, Tidewell. I hope you guys are all having a great day. And we are here to discuss the latest book I just finished reading yesterday, which is called Awareness by Anthony DeMello. If you're watching on YouTube, you can see the link to purchase this book in the description of the video. This book was actually sent to me anonymously from someone, I don't know who it was, but they sent it to my P.O. box, which you can find the address to over on the website, nextjuice.com, by clicking contact. Hey, Peter. Hey, Askell. Good broadcast earlier. Victoria, thank you for the super hearts. First super hearts of the broadcast, making this channel possible. Our goal today is a big one. We are looking to get 152,000 more super hearts before the end of the day. That's the only way to stay on track for 3 million super hearts this month, which will get us a $350 bonus from Periscope, which basically means more of the money you spend on super hearts actually comes to this channel. Thanks, Wesley. I'm glad you like our YouTube page. I appreciate that. Hey, Wolfie. Welcome to your first day on Periscope. What a great name. You're going to fit in with all the other wolves that are on this platform. You guys can make a pack. It'll be amazing. Ed, you are orange. You are juicy. I love it. I love you. And I swear we're going to talk about this book now. So like I said, this book was sent to me anonymously, which I actually find to be pretty genius. Thank you, Ed, for the super juice, because I had no preconceived notions about the person who sent me this book or why they might have sent me this book. Hey, Sonam. Yeah, Wolfpack. Thank you, Ed. And I just read it completely unbiased. I mean, as unbiased as I can be as a human being and someone who has my own opinions, beliefs, and history. So that's actually right tied in with what this book is all about, which is why I found that pretty genius. So big thank you to whoever did send me this book. I really appreciate you sending this to me. I found it really fascinating. I read it right away. Nikki Sparkles, hey. Yes, Wolfpack, exactly, Tidewell. Thanks for inviting your followers, Nikki. And it talks about that basically desire for your opinions and your preconceived notions to be validated, to be justified, and always searching to be proven right, and looking for, in psychology we call this confirmation bias, looking for things that back up what we already believe to be true. So we have an opinion. Anything we read or hear or learn about in the future, we look to back up what we already believed. We're slow to want to change our opinions and our belief systems. Thank you, Nikki, for the super juice. I appreciate you guys. If we get to 25,000 super hearts, we are going to interrupt this broadcast to do either hula hoop, cash cannon, or a costume change. Just saying. So, this book encourages you. So, let's talk about the author for a quick moment. The author actually is an Indian from the country of India. He's a psychologist and he is a Jesuit, which basically means he's basically like a Christian priest, which is three very unique things, I think, that kind of differentiate him from the common narrative that we hear a lot in society, in psychology, in Indian literature, or in Jesuit literature. He has a pretty eccentric background, and it makes for a pretty interesting point of view. What happens at 500,000 super hearts? Whatever you want to happen, whatever the top contributor wants to happen at 500,000 super hearts, that's what happens. Moving on. So he encourages us to detach from desire for super hearts or any other desire, detach from clinging to people for our happiness, to detach from our thoughts, our opinions, success, money, etc., Well, it is a book review broadcast, and these broadcasts are pretty short. So, ooh, am I going fuzzy? Sorry, let me see if I can. Oh, there we go. We're focused again. Sorry, sometimes it gets a little fuzzy if I move too close to the camera. Maybe in the next broadcast. All right, that sounds good. Detaching from labels, trying to observe ourselves and the world around us without labels, without judgment, without criticism. Trying to just observe things as they really are and attaching instead of detaching, we're attaching to reality as much as possible, to the real truth, the true truth, right? Instead of just what we think is the truth, but the actual reality. So, something he talks about here that I thought was interesting was the difference between loneliness and aloneness. So, loneliness is what you feel when you're craving other people. You're craving someone else to make you happy. You're craving validation, affection, love, acceptance. And this is something that we're taught from a very young age is very important to our happiness. And then he says, but you can actually experience what he calls aloneness, which is being happy with yourself, being happy with your own company, and not relying on other people to make you happy, but realizing that you can be happy without love, without acceptance, without desire, without attachments. Secondly, he talks about renunciation. So renouncing things, saying that yes, Sonam totally has expressed these same kinds of ideas to me in the past. Hi, Thomas. Like in meditation, that's alone. Yep. And the truth is that we're alone no matter what, right? Everyone in the world that we know does die eventually. Some people die suddenly, some people die, we have a little bit of warning, but regardless, we are alone in the that's the true reality is that we are alone and we can't rely on anyone else and we can't depend on anyone else for our own happiness and for our own inner peace. So thank you for Sonam for kind of teaching me about that early on. And this book I think you would actually probably really like. Let me show it one more time. Awareness by Anthony de Mello. It says on the bottom, the perils and opportunities of reality. That sounds good to me, Ed. He says he plans to die 60 seconds after me in our old age. That's a good plan. Let's go with that. Let's go with that. So renunciation. So saying that you completely quit something, that you're never going to do this thing again. So let's say you renounce swearing, or you renounce drinking, or you renounce sex, whatever it is, the thing that you say you're absolutely never going to do again becomes significantly more powerful and significantly more attractive when you renounce it. So that renouncing anything and renunciation in general basically increases your desire for the thing that you renounce and makes it much more difficult and potentially impossible to completely avoid that action, that behavior, that activity. So his proposed solution would be to detach from believing that that thing is going to bring you happiness, and it's not a matter of never doing that thing again. It's just realization. It's connecting with reality and realizing that drinking isn't what makes you happy, sex isn't the thing that makes you happy, that you can have happiness without these external things. Hey, Carol. Carol's watching on Periscope and on YouTube. Yes, Sono, I thought you would like this. I thought about you a lot when I was reading it. Oh, really, Josh? That's actually very common, I think. You're not going to renounce that? Okay, Ed. Is that elderly people who are married, they tend to die not too far apart. I don't know if that's coincidence, just has to do with old age or what, or similar lifestyles and behaviors, but it does seem to happen that way, that when one spouse dies, the other one tends to die not too long after them, usually within a couple of years. Is that a little bit too morbid? I'm sorry, let's go back to the book. Next, he says that fear is the root of all negativity and violence. So, what he says in the book is that there's two things, fear or love, and that all negativity, all violence, all bad things that we ascribe to bad with moral codes comes from fear. Wow, wow, Josh, that's really fascinating. Oh my goodness, thank you for sharing that with us. I'm sorry that you had to experience that. So fear, what do we fear? So the other day I did a broadcast about government. What is the purpose of government? And some people were asking about borders. Do I believe in open borders? Do I believe in, anyone being able to freely move about the world as they please? And I said, yeah, I kind of think I do believe in that. And they were like, no, that's horrible. Like, it just seemed like there was a lot of fear there. And I asked people, what are you afraid of? Like, what do you think is going to happen if another human comes into your territory? What are you afraid of? Are you afraid that you're not going to be able to defend yourself, to defend your children, to defend your family, to defend your property? Are you afraid that this person is going to exert violence upon you? Are you afraid of changing your belief system, your lifestyle, your boundaries, to change your boundaries literally, right? To give up a little bit of something to somebody else? What is the fear and why are you afraid of it? And really learning that, observing it again, trying to observe things without labels, without criticism, without judgment. Just observe, what is the fear? Why are you afraid of it? Where does that come from? Hi, Tracy. Hey, hey, hey. 98. Okay, Josh. So you probably kind of suspected that was coming soon. That's kind of a beautiful story, actually. Beautiful, a little bit dark, but pretty beautiful. Tracy says, I think people are afraid of not having enough jobs to go around. Interesting. Maybe. Maybe that is one of the fears. For sure, that could be a fear. There's probably a lot of fears. You guys, if you want to name some of your fears or what you think other people's fears are, I'd love to hear it. Hey, Dave. How are you? Welcome to the private Periscope group. This is not it, but you are in the private Periscope group now. So thank you for your support. I don't know if I said this in the beginning, so big thank you to every single person that makes this show possible by going to nextjuice.com and clicking the support button. Here are all of our contributors over the last 30 days making this possible. Yes, no, definitely, Tracy. That's fine. I'm sure that is one of the fears. I'm sure there's a lot of different fears. So totally open to that. I don't want to spend a ton of time kind of digging into rebuttals because I want people to be able to express what their beliefs are, what their fears are, rather than me try to like say that that's justified or not justified. So feel free to keep sharing with me openly. The next one is no. Oh wait, sorry. No, I versus me. Build a bridge, buy beer, and invite everyone over. I love that, Tracy. I think that's kind of how I feel too. At the same time, I know I'm not fully educated on the entire situation, and I haven't been exposed to many different cultures. So I definitely know that I'm ignorant on either side of the equation, but that's my gut tendency as well, is to say, yeah, come on over. And if I don't like you, I'll tell you to leave. So I versus me. This was one of the more abstract concepts that he presented in this book, and I had a little bit of a hard time verbalizing it when I wrote up my review on Goodreads. So, hi, I'm Taylor. For anybody who's new, I read a new book every single week, and I put my book reviews here on Periscope and on YouTube, and then I do written reviews over on Goodreads. So if you go to Goodreads, GOODREADS.com/nextjuice, you can follow my shelves and see all of the books that I've read, over 200 books at this point. Or you can sign up for my book reviews totally for free at the website nextjuice.com, and you can just put in your name, your email address, and you'll get 3 emails from me a year, one every 4 months. And all it does is basically give you a list of all the books that I've read in those 4 months with a review and a summary of each of those books, along with a link if you'd like to purchase the book yourself. It's not really a big sales pitch or anything like that, just a way we can keep in touch and so that you can be attached to what I find to be one of the most valuable things that I do, which is read a book every single week, 52 books a year, so you don't have to, unless you want to. Hi, Chris. So I versus me. I'm going to do my best. Bear with me here. Oh, hey, Miles, how are you? I is the observer. I is the one who I say that I feel a certain way, or I think a certain thing, or I see. It's that ever present awareness that we have in our waking state. It's our true identity. It's something that is not changing. So, at one point in my life, I said, I am a Christian. Well, now I say that I don't subscribe to any religion. I'm basically an agnostic and I don't know, about higher powers. I don't really know. I don't claim to know. But the I in that sentence hasn't changed. I am still Taylor. So I identify myself with my name. My name's always been Taylor, but you could even change your name. And that feeling of you, no matter what decisions you make in your life, remains the same. And then me, this is how he describes it in the book anyway, me is all of those identifiers. So Christian, maybe your political background, your socioeconomic status, things that are subject to change, where you live. Maybe at one point you're an American and then all of a sudden you're a European or you're a Canadian or you're Mexican, and these things can change. And these are identifiers, these are the labels, these are the judgments, the criticisms, the desires, the attachments that we add on to that I, that soul. I've heard it described as the soul in some of the other books that I've read, that never changing part, the observer part of ourselves that isn't really fully attached to anything. It's kind of an objective, just I. It's just the one who experiences the life. But me is the one who really gets tied up in the emotions and the belief systems. Thanks, Alvin. I hope you're having a good day. Josh says, I think most people are Christian only because their parents were, perhaps. Matt says, I'm changing my name to Taylor, question mark. Okay, that's fine. You can change your name if you'd like. I'm so confused. Hi, Ryan on YouTube. Good to see you. So the I versus the me. That's the best way that I can describe it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. I can try to dig in through the book. Let me show it one more time for anybody who just joined us, or we can try to discuss it and see what we think together. Or if you have any comments, questions, anything, opinions about any of the things that I'm saying here with the book. The last piece that I believe I have here, I think I covered everything, is that something I covered the other night on one of my broadcasts, which is that no one belongs to you. Let me say that again. No one belongs to you. You do not own any person. And in some ways, you don't really own anything. Maybe you're very attached to the idea of private property. Fine. Maybe you're very attached to the idea of monogamy. Fine. But the reality is that when you go, when you die, as we all do, nothing belongs to you besides you, your body, your I. And that we get so attached to the people that bring us happiness. And we're clinging. We have that clinging. That's the energy here that we're kind of looking into here. We cling to our success. We cling to our identities. We cling to our business. We cling to our brand. We cling to our lovers, our partners, our spouses, our friends, our family members, and we want to hold on to them so tightly, and we really value them to the extent that they bring us happiness and pleasure and pride. And we don't necessarily want these people to be completely free because we may or may not trust them, because we know the true human nature. That someone said to me earlier today that one of the most human, hey Asim, hey Laura, is that one of the most human qualities is deception and lying. I think it was a quote that they were referencing that I don't know verbatim, but something to just basically saying that one of the most commonly unifying human traits among all humans is that we lie, we deceive to get what we want, to put out the perception, the persona that we want to present to the world. And that's a really big problem on social media. People keep having issues with this, where they look on social media and they say all these people have such great lives, they're happy all the time, their relationships are perfect, they're perfect parents, everything about them, they do nothing wrong. And I look at my own life and I say, wow, I'm really failing, I have all these problems, all these flaws, and nobody else seems to have them. But the reality is that people are just being deceptive. And I do the same thing. We want to put our best foot forward. We view social media sometimes as kind of like a resume, like an application for some type of job that we want to get. And we want to put out our most impressive work and our best things. We want to keep some of the things in the dark. We want to keep some secrets hidden away, and some things that we're maybe not so proud of, or not so motivated to share with the world or with the people that we know and love. But we have to realize that that's the reality, right? That we all can be good or bad, and that no one belongs to us, nothing belongs to us. So we can't cling to people and feel like, for me, this is where a lot of my negative emotions and fear come from, is in relation to my relationships with other people, or maybe even my business. Is that I fear loss, and you'll hear this sometimes called scarcity mentality. It's like if I feel jealous, let's say I feel jealous of another woman that I view as physically attractive, smart, funny, something that I think that my man may find attractive in another woman. I view her as a threat to my possession of my mate. But the reality is that that person doesn't belong to me. And why should I ask them to sacrifice their own happiness for mine? If they're going to be happier with somebody else, then why not let them be free to do that? Because if that's really what they want, then chances are I'm going to be happy in a different situation as well. So try not to cling. Try not to cling to these relationships. Try not to cling to our own possessions. Realize that the only constant, one pretty famous quote is that the only constant is change. Everything is changing, everything is fleeting, everything is temporary. Our time here on earth is just a blink of an eye. It's so short, it's so precious. And try to be free yourself and allow the things and the people in your life to be free as well. It's okay to have goals. Having desires, I think, is very human, but try not to cling to them. Try not to be so attached to them that if you were to lose them, which is sometimes happens and oftentimes happens, try not to be so attached to them that you think that your identity is being lost or that it reflects poorly on you. There was one part of the book, and I'll kind of close with this, where he says that I'm going to be me. I'm okay being me. I like me. And I'm going to let you be free to be you, but I'm going to protect myself. And that may involve me not wanting to have your company. I may prefer the company of someone else to your company. And this isn't, I'm not really talking about romantic relationships. You could perceive it that way as well, but just in general, coworkers, other businesses that you have to work with in your business, friends in general, acquaintances, neighbors, we have preferences. So it's okay to have preferences. That's very human. But try to detach yourself as much as possible from the desire, from the clinging, from the attachment, so that you can be free and other people can be free. Because when people are free, you'll find that they might surprise you. They may behave in ways that you didn't expect. Maybe you thought the worst and you were kind of pessimistic. And maybe, it's better to be surprised than to be let down. How's that? I think Dave might have said that the other day, if I'm not mistaken. And there was a really interesting book. I said I was going to close, but you know me, I never shut up. I'm going to scroll back through the comments too. I'm kind of on a roll here. There's a really, really interesting book that he referenced within this book. So let me show the book one last time. Awareness by Anthony DeMello. The book, whew, let's see if I can remember here. Oh, boom, there it is. It's called Summerhill. Summerhill by A.S. Neal. Summerhill, Summerhill, like the word summer and the word hill, Summerhill by A.S. Neal. Hey, Lou. And this is about a school for children where they have no rules. This was, back in the day before when this was still a possibility. And they would bring in children of all backgrounds, all different types of kids who were viewed to be completely disrespectful, really misbehaving, just bad kids would come to this school, and within 6 months, all of the kids were basically without trouble. And they all wanted to learn. They made the choice. So they would basically say to them, hey, you come to this school. As long as there was like two rules. You can't impose yourself on anyone else's freedom and violence. Something like this. Like you can't, as long as your choices aren't impeding on anyone else's choices, then you're free to make any choice you want. If you want to learn to read and write, great. If you don't want to learn to read and write, great. And they just basically was an experiment in giving kids as much freedom as possible. And there's a whole book written about it. I haven't read it. I do have it on my list now, as you can imagine. It's called Summerhill, like I said, by A.S. Neal. I think it's Andrew something Neal. And they found that within 6 months, every single child chose to learn, that they wanted to learn to read and to write and to have different things. And every kid is a bit unique and different, but nobody really chose to be violent. And they didn't have issues with bullying. They didn't have issues with name calling or people ostracizing other people, that it was almost like an idealized society. And it seemed to come from the allowing an environment of freedom. So that was pretty cool. So let me scroll up and then I'm going to end this broadcast. Lusa's first rule of Summerhill is there are no rules. Pretty much, yeah. Loving someone means respecting their freedom. Thanks for inviting your followers, retweeting, and sharing on Twitter, Mr. Lou. I'm cutting off my own hair here. There we go. Ooh, look at it. It's so nice. I'm attached to my 65-inch TV. Ed is kissing Dave. Hi, Tiki. Change. Yep. Ed is a hottie. He is a hottie. I'm happiest with you. I'm happiest with you too, Ed. Askell. We're too embarrassed to admit. Sometimes I do have a plan to do a broadcast, probably It probably won't be for another maybe 2 months or so due to external circumstances, but I do have a plan to kind of share all of my embarrassing confessions with you guys from my history of my life. When the game's over, all the pieces go back in the box. Nothing really belongs to us. I like the way you said that. When the game is over, all the pieces go back in the box. Miles, did you send me this book? Who sent me this? I got this book from an anonymous contributor. They mailed it to my P.O. box. I didn't know who it was. My P.O. box, if you want to send me little surprise gifts like this, nextjuice.com, click contact, and you can send me things too. It was really awesome. I enjoyed reading this book. The next book up, like I said, I read a new book every week. Nope, that's the back of it. Is the autobiography of Andrew Carnegie and his essay, The Gospel of Wealth. Miles! Oh my God, thank you! Yep, I read it. I just did my full review of it, and I actually referred to you as a genius. So thanks for sending that to me, and thanks for coming in on this broadcast. Let's see. Someone said, I've noticed that the things I've been restricted for, I've pushed hard to get, and the things I've been allowed to do freely, I do moderately. Yes, people talk about this. In countries where kids are basically able to participate in drinking alcohol, they tend to have a lot more, or, sorry, a lot less alcohol abuse and a lot less alcohol problems because it's not glorified as this, ooh, this secret thing that's reserved only for adults. And if you do it, this is talked about in Chasing the Screen by Johann Hari, which is about addiction, it's about drugs, it's about different cultures, and how when we tell someone they can't do something, they tend to want to do it even more. And when you say that they can do it if they want, and it's not that cool or exciting or dangerous or bad anymore, they're like, okay, well, that's not very exciting, and they just kind of like they're no longer interested in doing it, you know? FanDuel, no, these are sponsors from the last 30 days, so these go back to the beginning of March. Johnny said awareness. That sounds terrible. I love you guys. Thanks for coming in. Stay tuned for my next book review, which will be actually my next book review is coming up next right after this. I'm going to do another book review right now. I'm going to go put this on my bookshelf. All right, I'm dropping things dramatically. So my next book review is actually going to be a review of 6 books. Ooh, you guys are hot. You just burned my chin. Okay. Which are going to be these 6. Let's see if I can point the bindings towards you. Okay. These 6 children's books, which are basically children's books you should never read to your children. And I'm going to be live in just a few minutes with these, so stay tuned. I'll be back in just a few minutes to go over these. Carol said, oh no, my name is Scream, but I swear I'm free, I promise. I love you, Carol. You're the best. I love you all. I'll be live in just a few minutes to talk about. I'm going to do a review on 6 books at once because all these books are in the same category. These were all sent to me as well by a sponsor named Wolf Puppy with 2 eyes. I read all of these a few nights ago, and I'm going to do a review here on video on live stream with you guys first, and then I'll write up all the reviews separately on Goodreads after that. Matt said, yes, I want to hear this. Yeah, it's going to be pretty fun. They're like children's parody books, if you will. One other thing I was gonna say. Yep, I don't remember. Okay, so I love you, and I will see you in just a few minutes. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. I hope to see you on the next Juice. And remember, you can sign up for all my book reviews for free at nextjuice.com. And while you're there, if you'd like to keep keep content like this going and growing, you can do that with us together by clicking the support button and helping us by sending any amount that you want. There's different rewards for different levels, so check it out. Let me know what you think. Extra special bonuses for those who subscribe on a monthly basis. And I will see you guys in just a few minutes. This has been A Moment in Time with Taylor. I will see you on the next Juice. Carol doesn't have kids, so let's go for it. Let's do this. I also don't have kids. I have stepkids, but hey. Okay, bye. You guys watching on YouTube, I can promote this on YouTube. I'm not allowed to promote it on Periscope, so you get a little extra bonus. Everyone who supports this channel on a monthly basis, you can sign up for as little as $5 a month, gets entered to win $100 on the 17th of every month. So in 12 days, we're giving away another $100 cash, and you could be entered to win that by just going to nextjuice.com, clicking support, and subscribing on a monthly basis. So again, this has been a moment in time with Taylor, and we'll see you on the next juice in just a few minutes. Thanks for watching, and thanks for making this show possible. Bye!